Can you turn on the mic if it's not on?
Thank you. Dipti Khanna. I have two kids in the school district, one in the Union County Schools. I sent out this email earlier in the day, so hopefully you've had a chance to read it and maybe have an answer. So I'm just going to read it out. The first one is there's reporting in the local media that there is an ethics complaint against Dr. Varley that violates the district's nepotism policy. I think in the last meeting, there was an amendment that was proposed to this existing nepotism policy. My question is, given that there is this current ethics complaint that's going on, is it appropriate to amend that policy? And have the board members been aware of the complaint when the proposed amendment was put forward to them? So that's the first question.
Can you ask all your questions, please?
Okay. The next one was about the legal bills. So my understanding is that our legal bills in the last year have exceeded 150,000. Is that the right statement?
I have to defer. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Generally in that range, Julie, is that? Yeah, okay. My understanding is we do have a policy, I think it's policy number 174, that's also tied to a New Jersey statute, which basically says that school districts with legal bills that exceed 130% of the statewide average of cost per student, they need to put some procedures in place. I'm assuming it's to kind of check, how the district is doing or having some prudent legal bills. How do you approach that? I think part of that was having a designated contact. I don't know if it's within the board or within the administration, but having a designated contact who needs to be the point person to receive all of the requests. They will determine if the request warrants legal advice or not. They are supposed to maintain a log of all legal counsel contacts, including the name of the counsel, the date of the contact, and so on. So my question is, who is that designated contact for our district, or how many do we have? Can they provide a status of how many requests for legal counsel have been received this year? And do they have any documented rules on how they treat something as a valid request? And finally, can the public get a copy of the log that is being maintained?
Are those your questions?
Those are my questions, yes.
So at the last meeting, we pulled that policy that wasn't being changed. A question was raised about hiring of both board members and the superintendent. It was recommended to go back to policy to remove that from the policy. That was being updated as part of the normal updates that we received from our policy company to say these are out of date and these are policy needs to be updated. But we did not pass that policy. That was pulled. And that went back to committee to look to revise it, to remove both the superintendent and board members from hiring family members, from hiring, not family members or whatever the terminology is.
So you're saying that you are not going to take out that amendment, which would have basically.
We're revising the policy based on recommendation at the meeting. So policy's not up for approval yet.
Okay. And then my second question about the designated contact, is there?
I am not familiar with that policy, so I'm going to ask Robert if we can research that. I am not familiar with that policy, if there is such a thing, state statute or anything, so I can't comment yes or no.
It's also a Berkeley Heights policy.
Okay, I don't have all the policies memorized, so I can't answer it. So I'm going to ask Robert if we can come back at the next meeting, if we can see that about that policy on that. So again, I'm not familiar.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.